And happening right now, new tropical storm warnings were just issued for parts of South Texas ahead of Tropical Storm Beryl. A live look right now looks quite lovely, doesn't it, in South Padre Island, Texas, but they're under new warnings right now. Beryl could skirt along the Texas coast before making a U.S. landfall. Texas officials are urging people to prepare, even asking residents of several coastal counties to voluntarily evacuate in anticipation of the potentially dangerous conditions Beryl could bring. Let's go now to Elisa, Raffa in the CNN Weather Center, where Beryl is right now, and looking at the coast of Texas, it looks beautiful, but it's amazing how quickly conditions can change.
Yeah, I mean, we still have Beryl sitting in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. It is looking more organized now than it did earlier this morning because it's feeding off of these warm waters. We're still sitting about 460 miles south and east of Corpus Christi. These winds at 60 miles per hour right now in the center of the tropical storm, but it's sitting in these waters that are more typical of late August and early September. So they're incredibly warm, which is what will let Beryl kind of organize better and possibly become a hurricane by landfall. That's where we've got some of these tropical storm warnings in effect right now from Brownsville, just south of Corpus Christi, expecting some hurricane warnings later on today because we're looking at a Category 1 landfall possible. Then that moisture starts to trek inland. We are finding the probability of tropical storm force winds increasing for places like Corpus Christi and Victoria, Texas, Houston too. Winds up to 73 miles per hour possible. There you see in that orange color. Something that we'll have to watch as the center of the storm comes on shore. We're also looking at storm surge, that ocean water that just kind of gets lofted inland because of those winds, could get up to 3 to 5 feet in some locations. So we'll have to watch that incredibly closely as well. On top of this, we're taking a lot of tropical moisture pretty far inland. We already have a level 3 of 4 risk of flash flooding from Victoria, Texas, up towards Houston, even pretty far inland, because we're looking at rain totals of 5 to 10 inches possible. Some rain totals could even get up to 15 inches. So incredibly heavy rain, even from San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Texas, up towards Dallas. Look at how heavy some of these rainfall totals can be. Also, when you have this spinning tropical system making landfall, that's where you can have some of these outer bands that have some spinning thunderstorms with them that can create some brief tornadoes. So we do have a severe risk as well, a level 2 out of 5, that yellow severe risk for the possibility of a couple of brief tornadoes. All of this happening on a holiday weekend where people are flocking to a lot of these beautiful beaches on the Gulf Coast, and we're looking at a dangerous, life-threatening rip current situation unfolding even outside of Texas. We're obviously looking at some of the greatest impacts from the storm in Texas, but we've got rip currents that will stretch all the way through the Florida Panhandle. So something that you'll want to watch and be careful for very closely as we go through the weekend. Rip currents have already taken a couple of lives so far this season. The heat domes that are kind of situated right here, the west coast over to the east, that's what's letting Beryl just kind of head right towards Texas as we go through the weekend. And again, that's what's churning up the rough seas and the rip currents for the entire Gulf Coast. So I just wanted to share with you, if you're not familiar, rip currents are incredibly dangerous. It is the current that takes you out to sea. It goes out into the ocean, and you have to be faster than an Olympic swimmer to get out of it if you swim this way. So the best way to get out of it is to swim parallel to the shore, and that's how you can kind of get out of it and get safely back to the coastline.
Yeah, very important tips, and it's important to be aware of what's going on along your coast. Thanks so much, Elisa, Raffa.